Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Sustainable Activism webinar. My name is Lisa Levinson, and I am the director of the Sustainable Activism Campaign for In Defense of Animals, and we are so honored to present these monthly talks with leaders in the activist movement who will share some of their resources with you. And today, we have a really special guest, and I'm going to share a little bit more about her. Yay! So, Karen Ellis and tireless vegan educator, transition coach, writer, public speaker, and animal rights activist. In 2011, Karen co-founded the Compassionate Farming Education Initiative, CFEI, a 501c3 vegan educational nonprofit in Southeast Florida. And you can find that at compassionatefarming.org. The FEI is committed to creating educated and empowered consumers, thereby shifting mass industry towards vegan, sustainable products, and ultimately, global plant-based veganic agriculture models. Karen believes that public outreach and vegan education is the key to creating a new ethics-based, conscious consumer model. We vote with our dollars, and our allocated spending shapes consumer demand. In addition, she's a visual designer and singer-songwriter for her band, The Modern Day Alchemy. Karen lives in Boynton Beach, Florida, with her husband, Joshua Ritter, their 7-year-old twin sons, Noah and Aiden, and their fur kids, Fiona, Sammy, and Max. So it's really a pleasure to bring you in connection with Karen, who's also a really wonderful friend of mine. Hi, Karen. How are you doing today?
I'm great. It's an honor to be here, and thank you so much for having me on. So this webinar is going to be about abundance mindset, wealth and prosperity, mindfulness, which is something that our community desperately needs. Just to give you a little background on my last year, because I'm going through this journey as well. I had a great job that was, paying the bills and everything, and I was able to do CFEI for free and just do that in my spare time. And then the bottom fell out, and I wound up having a situation where, oh, Karina, can you mute? Because I think it's going to your screen. Thank you. I wound up in a situation where I was struggling to pay my bills, and I was working my ass off applying to lots of jobs, and all these things were happening, and I wasn't really getting anywhere. I've done a lot of unconscious mind work in the past, but I've never really focused on financial abundance. So that was something that was relatively new to me. When I really started doing some unconscious mind excavation, I realized that I had extremely negative views about wealth and the wealthy, and it was blocking me from attaining any sort of abundance in my life. So over the course of the year, I've been doing this work myself, and I wanted to share the tools that I've acquired along the way. Some were learned from other leaders, and others were just through my own journaling and unconscious mind work. So I hope you like this presentation that I put together. I also have a couple goodies at the end of the presentation. I have a video that's on YouTube. It's a mindfulness meditation video. You can close your eyes and listen to it, or you can actually watch it. And I have a workbook, so it's like 20 questions. It's all journaling, and it will really, really help you get deep. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to watch the presentation. So you're going to see my new branding. I'm actually in the process of opening my own vegan transition coaching business. So you'll see vegantransitioncoach.com. The website is still in the works, so just bear with me on that. In the meantime, you can always go on compassionatefarming.org. There's lots of really great resources on there as well. So this quote really, really landed for me. I started to realize why I was blocked. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you believe. So if your beliefs are not aligned with what you're outwardly wanting, you're not going to get them. I started looking at the negative beliefs that I was holding, and I'm going to share them with you today, and I'm sure you guys can probably relate to a lot of these. And in your own unconscious mind work, you'll be able to uncover some of your own unique negative beliefs. People will judge me or think less of me if I become wealthy. People will take advantage of me if I become wealthy. Having lots of money will make me become less spiritual and more materialistic. People will think I'm less genuine and a sellout if I become wealthy. Now, see, these are all ego driven. What are people going to think of me rather than what can I achieve? Money is energy. And all of these fears are coming from the ego. So these were some of my beliefs about wealthy people. Wealthy people are stingy and materialistic. Wealthy people don't care about those that are less fortunate than they are. Wealthy people want to take every last crumb and leave the rest of us with nothing. Wealthy people put money before ethics and the environment. Now, we definitely know some wealthy people like that. And unfortunately, the villains of the world, the Mr. Burns's of the world, and the Scrooges of the world are the ones that get the most airtime and the most publicity. But there are lots of wealthy philanthropists who are building foundations and doing incredible charitable work behind the scenes. And a lot of them are not driven by ego. A lot of them are doing this anonymously. But if our beliefs about people are that they're Scrooges and Mr. Burns's, there's no way that we're going to acquire wealth because we don't want to be that. So this is the reality. You will not attract money or become wealthy if you believe that money is a corrupting force and that rich people are uncaring. If you can't identify your personal whys, the energy, the reasons why you want to have money, and you can't relate to those who have lots of it, you will always repel money and the opportunities to create abundance. So regardless of your intentions, if you don't change your underlying beliefs, your mind is essentially running an old operating system that does not support your new software upgrade. So you must install a new operating system. Now let's take those negative beliefs that I posed in the beginning and switch them to positive beliefs. People who will judge me based on my income are not worth my time. So there's no reason to try to appeal to them anyway. Like attracts like. I will always be surrounded by genuine, loving people no matter how much money I have. Money is just a tool. If my heart and passions are the same, money will be used as an instrument for good, and my heart will never change. People will see all the amazing things I am doing with my money, and they will be inspired to be like me. Now, doesn't that feel expansive? That's because those are energetically charged words. Those aren't ego-driven. Those are about what I can create and the freedom and the love. So I started to transform my beliefs about the wealthy because we basically have to build a paradigm shift. We have to create a new persona of what is a wealthy person that we would want to aspire to be. And that is the image that we need to hold in our minds. There are lots of incredibly generous and philanthropic wealthy people who are committed to investing in positively shaping our world. Many wealthy people open up foundations, charities, and are large donors for programs that benefit animals and veganism. Countless wealthy entrepreneurs are investing in environmental preservation initiatives, renewable energy sources, and eco-friendly technologies. So these beliefs, we're going to explore them more. This is one of the exercises that's going to be in the workbook. And by the way, if you want to take screenshots of anything, feel free. If there's something that really resonates or that you want to look back on, absolutely feel free to take screenshots. So this is one of the exercises that you'll do in your spare time. Create 2 columns on a sheet of paper. And in the first column, you make a list of all the negative beliefs you have about money, the wealthy, and your fears about becoming rich. In the second column, you will write a new positive counter belief that overrides that original belief. So the second column will become the mantras that you recite aloud on a regular basis. So you're basically retraining your brain, you're unlearning negative imprints that have a cumulative effect over years. So the speaking of it out loud, it just helps to kind of uproot those negative imprints. So what are the stories I've been telling myself about money, and how can I change those stories? Because that's all they are, they're stories. Money is neutral. Money doesn't have a story. We create stories around money, so we either repel money or we attract money. I see money being used for electing crooked leaders, oppressing the vulnerable, and destroying our planet. Therefore, I believe that money is a corrupting force. Society taught me that people who are virtuous have almost no material possessions, and that having nice things isn't part of a spiritual state of being. So I just want to ask people to mute their microphones, because it'll switch to your screen if there's any sound at all. So while I'm doing the presentation, if you can mute your microphones, and then when we get to the end with the questions, we can bring them back on. Thank you. These were my realizations. I acknowledge my negative underlying beliefs about money and the association of money with greedy materialistic people. I've kept that money from freely flowing into my life because I want to disassociate from those bad people and be the opposite of them. The shift starts with imagining something new, focusing on that new reality, and then facilitating change through manifestation of new beliefs. So in my shift, I can imagine the kind-hearted people who are already accessing their money in a positive way. I can focus on that. I can imagine in detail what my life will look like with limitless funds, while maintaining that burning desire to positively transform our world. I can focus on the amazing ways that money in the hands of people like me and you guys can be used to heal the planet, the animals, and humans alike. I can focus on the ways that I can transform our government through supporting progressive grassroots leaders. And I can change my results when I shift focus to all the amazing good in the world that money can help to facilitate. These are the seeds, the whys. You have to imagine what your life will be like and why you want money. And that's not about, oh, I want to pay my bills, I want a car. It's getting really clear on what your day-to-day life will look like with all that money, and how will your results change once you manifest that money. So I break this down into different categories, and you can do the same, or you can just do a more generalized list of whys. But I like getting really specific. So these were some of the reasons I decided that it was an imperative for me to become wealthy. So on a personal level, bills are never a financial worry. I'm not in debt. I have an abundance of money in the bank. And notice how I'm speaking in the present, because when we want to manifest something, we don't discuss it as if it's going to happen somewhere in the future, because we're going to be manifesting something off into the distant future. So we really want to focus on manifesting something that's going to happen now. So we want to talk about the present. I don't have to spend time working on jobs that I'm not passionate about. I can allocate all of my time towards feeding my soul in philanthropic and creative projects. I can afford self-care, insurance, mental health care, fitness, nutritional support, massage, acupuncture, things that make me healthy and balanced. I can afford to hire someone to do my chores and cleaning to free up more precious time. How much time do we spend, doing our dishes and cleaning up and doing our laundry? All of that time could be used in more constructive ways. We can be doing activism, we can do creative projects, things that bring us love and light. I can eat healthy, nourishing food and I don't have to worry about the cost. I don't have to choose between my health and, paying the bills. Family wise, if a family member or friend gets sick, I don't have to worry about losing my job. I can be there for them. I can assist without worrying about a loss of income. If I get sick, I don't have to worry about losing my job or getting adequate coverage for my children. I can ensure that my family gets health care that they need should any unforeseen circumstances arise. I mean, these are critical. And these are things that most of us spend a lot of time worrying about. To the activist wise, if there's an animal rights conference or a demonstration or a fundraising event, I'm not barred by time and financial limitations. I don't have to say no, I can go. I can freely donate my time and money to organizations that I support. I can afford to support other peers who need funding to do their activism. I can afford activist supplies and transportation because we know all that stuff adds up. And I can travel to sanctuaries and volunteer. On an industry level, I can be a seed investor for vegan business startups and IPOs. I can invest in clean energy and plant meat technologies and patents. I can invest in development teams to build my own vegan startups and applications. I can have an ethically consistent financial portfolio that creates passive income. I mean, doesn't that just give you chills to be able to do all of these amazing things that are not only transforming the world and investing in a vegan future and a clean future, but you're also nourishing yourself. It's an incredible, expansive feeling. On a legislative level, I can financially support legislative initiatives and campaigns that I believe in. I can bankroll pro-animal rights and pro-environmental lobbies. You look at the meat and dairy industry, they have unlimited funds. They are constantly lobbying government. They get giant subsidies. Like you look at the dairy industry, for instance. I mean, the demand has dropped so substantially and they're failing. And yet the government keeps bailing them out and they're dumping out millions of gallons of milk. And all of these animals are suffering and dying for what? Right? But that's because they have powerful lobbying interests. Can you imagine if we could level the playing field, if we could do that? So take Citizens United, for instance. Everybody vilifies Citizens United because at this point it's sinister. It's corporations destroying our elections. But imagine if people like us were wealthy and we could put unlimited funds into PACs that get vegan progressives in office that can actually do something to transform our government, to stop with these giant subsidies for the meat and dairy industry, to put an end to all these ag-gag laws. I mean, it's incredible what we could do. I can sponsor legal teams who are working on animal abuse, animal rights, and environmental law cases. You can bankroll lawyers that are doing these initiatives that need funding. So you should write down in as much detail as you can how your daily life will be when you have limitless funds and an absence of financial worry. Use the why categories in those previous slides as a guideline if you need to. Your whys are energy. I don't know if you're feeling it, but I mean, I've gone through this deck over and over again, and I still get chills in the back of my neck at the thought of having that sort of influence on our planet and having that kind of unbelievable life, right? So notice the relief you felt. Like you haven't written out your whys yet, but even just hearing these things that I'm sure a lot of you are sharing, those dreams that I wrote down. So notice that relief that you feel when you hear those possibilities. Notice what your focus is on. Chances are you're not going to be focused on material items. You're more focused on the freedom to creatively express yourself and the ability to provide for yourself, your family, and others in need. So how do you feel in this alternative reality? It's expansive, right? It changes your outlook on everything. Now, materialism is very different from wealth because you can be materialistic and have nothing. You can be a hoarder and you can just collect candy wrappers, and that's still materialism. Okay, so materialism is an obsession with stuff, and it's usually based on an imbalance in your psyche, or something that you're not dealing with on an unconscious level, anger or hostility that you haven't let go of. It's other things. But when you become wealthy, it's not like you hit a certain financial bracket and all of a sudden you lose your compassion. If this is who you are, if you're an ethical vegan, you're not going to stop caring when you hit a certain financial bracket. You're going to be you no matter how much money you have. So you might as well have as much as you possibly can acquire so that you can do things with it that help shape our world. Now let's talk about a wealthy mindset, because that's the key. You have to have a wealthy mindset to attract wealth and to build wealth. So what are the psychological characteristics of wealthy people? And how do wealthy individuals manifest results? So again, I'm going to put this in first person, and I'm going to do it in the present. If I see the value in an opportunity, I will make a declaration to go for it. I will declare this regardless of knowing how I will go about carrying it out or how I will pay for it. The resources naturally follow the declaration. I don't toil over decisions. I will act fast and decisively. I take action now. I take personal responsibility for the way my results have manifested. I'm prepared to accept when something is not working out, and I trust that I will figure out a better way. Sorry for the ones back there. I'm not afraid of taking risks or the possibility of failure. If I don't succeed at first, I accept that my results are feedback. I try again, and I redirect my approach. I don't let fear or doubts hold me back. I don't let the people around me and their negative comments dictate what I am able to accomplish. I am not bound by societal norms, traditional timelines, or approaches. So you take whatever monetary goals you have and you multiply them. You just continue to stretch. Something feels a little bit scary, go a little bigger and see what happens. If you fall, big deal, you pick yourself back up again. But the bigger you go, the more confident you become and the bigger you can get. It's kind of like when your plate is full, you get a bigger plate. You figure it out. And you start flexing that muscle and you actually become more and more capable of juggling multiple projects and multiple ambitions. So you focus on your passions and your talents and find as many forms of both passive and active income that can maximize your abilities. So don't get saddled with conventional timelines and methods of income. Delight in the journey and focus on your goals. So start with one source of income, maybe two, and continue to add on additional streams of revenue. So one of the biggest things that we forget when we're in a slump is the gratitude. I love this quote from Esther Hicks, and it's so perfect for this part of the presentation. The fastest way to get to an improved financial condition is to look for pleasing things that you already have. For in the seeking and finding of that which is working, more success will come, and it will come quickly. So getting clear on all the blessings in your life, writing them down and really sitting with them and being in awe of what you have. It just puts you in such a healthy mindset. And your tribe. If you're around a bunch of doubters and scarcity conversationalists, it's going to be really, really hard to move forward. So protect yourself from the negativity and avoid conversations where people are focused on scarcity. Some people you can't avoid. If it's your mom or if it's, your aunt, whatever, if they start to say something, you redirect and change the subject. Don't engage them. Don't try to prove yourself. You don't need to prove yourself to anybody. Just redirect. To form your tribe of like-minded individuals who will cheer you on and believe in you the way you believe in them. Like attracts like, so the more you develop an abundance mindset, the more you're going to attract people who share a similar path. The plan to meet up with your tribe on a regular basis, to hold each other accountable, make declarations, and celebrate milestones. and call each other when meeting isn't convenient. I mean, I've got tribe all over the country, and if I have to do a Zoom meeting just to, make eye contact and smile at somebody that I care about, it's a great way to reconnect. So we're not really barred by anything at this point. We have the internet, and we can connect to whoever resonates with us. So affirmations, I know they're a little new for certain people, and they might feel a little weird because they are I am. They're also in the present, and you might be saying things that you never thought you would say. But you can, if you're not sure of what affirmations to create for yourself, you can use the meditation video on YouTube that I created, because I think a lot of it is a good seed foundation. And then when you get comfortable, you can start creating your own affirmations and even record them and listen back to them. So affirmations are the seeds of what we will manifest. We must be aware of our words and our intentions because they are cumulatively shaping our results every single day of our lives. So always form your affirmations in the present tense. Some examples: I am wealthy and abundant. Money flows to me effortlessly. I have everything I could ever want or need, and I am able to freely give to others. My life is incredibly rewarding and fulfilling. I am creating a loving and compassionate world for all beings. So now we'll get back to the hows, the streams of income. So your job really is to identify multiple ways to build both active and passive income. The diversification of your income is what's going to create wealth. Get clear on the ways that you would like to generate both active and passive income. So your active income is earned hourly or per project, and passive refers to streams that continue to come in long after you put the work in, such as royalties, membership fees, digital downloads, or streaming services. So start with one source of income that is most attainable and keep adding more sources. Diversify your streams of income so you can maximize your profits and repurpose existing materials. So these are some examples of income streams. And you might want to take a screenshot of this because, it might just kind of give you a little bit of inspiration, like, oh, I can do this. Because there's all sorts of ways to make money, and we all have skills and talents, and we all have ways that we can, share information, create something, or, we have things to offer. So it's really getting clear on all of the different things you have to offer and all the different formats that you can repurpose those things. So then once you're clear on, the types of income streams you'd like to pursue, and once you've built your affirmations that you're attracting and manifesting abundance, it's time to get clear on, how much by when, like declarations. You have to, start setting some goals, even, small measurable daily goals. It's good every day to declare 3, maybe even 4 things, and they can be small or they can be more ambitious depending on how much time you have in the beginning. But really get clear. One thing that I do is I have a Google Calendar, and I put my declarations in my calendar. These are the things I'm going to accomplish today. And I also take on challenges like, quick turnaround times. Even this webinar, I was like, okay, I have a quick turnaround time. I'm going to build this deck. I'm going to do the video, and I'm going to do the workbook, and I'm going to do it quick. And it kicked my ass, and I got it all done. And I had the accountability that it has to be done by this time. So sometimes taking on challenges that feel like a stretch are really wonderful ways of kind of giving you that little kick in the ass so that you can, really, really go for it. Ask yourself honestly, what is it that you truly want out of life? And once you've decided what that is, ask yourself why you want it. We were talking about the whys, and how achieving that goal will impact your life in a positive way. So the more specific and actionable your goals are, the sooner those goals will manifest. To be decisive and confident. And it's okay if the declarations feel too big or even scary at first, because they're always scary in the beginning. But then once you, make kind of declarations that feel too big or scary and you achieve them, you just get more and more confident and you go, yeah, I can take that on. I'm not sure how, but I'm going to do it. So that's really the goal. You want to just, just go for it, and not knowing how you're going to carry it out, but just go for it. Make the declaration and just see how it goes. And if you fall, you pick yourself up, and it's okay. Let's see. So this is the summary of what we went over. So you identify your negative or limiting beliefs around wealth and wealthy people. You upgrade your mind OS, consciously replace your negative beliefs with positive beliefs. Identify your personal fears about money and recognize how they are limiting you and adversely impacting your life. Shift your focus to what is possible. Get clear on your whys. Get very, very detailed on your whys. Adopt a wealthy mindset. Form your tribe. Create and recite affirmations. Identify potential streams of active and passive income and make your declarations. Now I'm going to open the floor to questions. So I'm going to stop sharing. Escape. All right. Sharing.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I really think this was an awesome upgrade for our mindset today.
Great. Yeah.
These lurking negative thoughts and associations, and here you are coming up to tell us it's time to do away with those and open our minds to something new. So thank you so much, Karen, for sharing that. And this is Lisa Levinson with In Defense of Animals, and I'm going to invite all of you to ask questions for Karen. So you can do that by, if you're on the phone, you can press *4, and that will allow you to speak, unmute yourself and speak. If you'd like to ask them in the chat box, you're welcome to do that. Or you can also unmute your video and do that just by letting us see you and asking a question. So there's lots of ways to interact with us. So does anyone have any questions for today? Just checking in the chat box here, and also looking on we're also broadcasting on Facebook Live, so seeing if anyone there has any questions. So I have Karen, I was just wondering how you've shared so many great tools with us. What is your go-to when you notice that you're starting to feel a little down or hopeless or doubting your own financial prowess? What is your favorite go-to?
Well, I have a few different videos on YouTube that I'll listen to in the car. I just listen to the audio. There's an Abraham and Esther Hicks Law of Prosperity meditation that is great. It's 15 minutes long, and it just kind of helps me to reset in the morning. I do a lot of deep breathing and affirmations. I set my goals. And, I also, rely on my tribe. When I'm feeling down, I have people that I know are solid and reliable, and they will be there for me and they will encourage me. And it's amazing. I mean, you can shift things, even things I'm exhausted a lot because my kids are up in the middle of the night, and I'll come into work and I'll be like, oh, I'm so tired. And I feel like I'm falling asleep. And then I started doing this thing where I go, I had 8 hours of sleep. I'm so energized. And I just say it out loud, and it gives me energy. It's like you kind of trick your mind into being awake. So you can do the same thing when you're feeling crappy. You can just say, oh, I feel amazing today. My life is amazing. And just getting focused on the gratitude, getting really clear on the things that are great and the things that are working. Because I think we get really focused on what's not working. we'll focus on that 5% of something rather than the 95% of something. So, any attempt to just like really pick that apart and go, well, why am I focusing on the 5% when all this stuff is working out? So that's what I would say.
Great. That is awesome. Looks like we have a question here in the box. So who
Who is the
is a
role
role model,
model?
yeah, that you admire, who is wealthy and making a worthwhile contribution to the world?
Okay. Well, Anna Jane is a role model, actually. My friend who's asking this question was actually my coach when I went to Summit, and she was phenomenal at getting me out of my crappy space. So I'm very grateful to you. But honestly, like I look at, the author of Harry Potter. She's one of those people who has incredible amounts of money, and she's always doing things for animals. Moby is always bankrolling things for animals. James Cameron is doing stuff for animals. Um, Woody Harrelson is actually going to be doing a documentary on veganism. It's like they can just throw money into these projects to bring awareness. There's a lot of people, in the vegan community. Um, Aside from the money part, Dr. Melanie Joy is, amazing, huge contributor to like my mental health. When I look at like her approach with people and just her take on, the psychological condition of carnism, it makes it a lot easier to be in relationship with people and to still love them, without necessarily accepting their habits, but being able to have a clean space with them and to honor them. Also, Claire Mann is a phenomenal resource for the vegan community when it comes to self-care, getting you to a healthy mind space. So yeah, those are some of the people that inspire me.
Wonderful. Well, I'm happy to share that some of those folks we've done webinars with as well. So you're actually in the same webinar league there with everyone. And if anyone's curious and wants to be able to watch those webinars, you can access them on the In Defense of Animals YouTube channel, and it's under Sustainable Activism Webinars. You can also find them on our events page, which is idausa.org/events. And that way you can access even this replay when we're done here. So very
Awesome.
cool.
And also Will Tuttle, please check out Will Tuttle on there too. He's phenomenal.
There's
Okay,
another
there's a
question too.
yeah. So Anna wrote, when you become wealthy, what is the first order of business you would declare? What change would you make first? Well, first, I would shift from CFEI being a grassroots organization to actually becoming a foundation that donates to other nonprofits. So my goal ultimately would be to kind of go like audit other nonprofits, and sanctuaries and vegan nonprofits that I felt were, really doing wonderful things and funding them. So I would like to travel and get to know some of these organizations and interview some of these people so that I can actually do more financially for them. Because at this point we're very grassroots and we're very education based, and I'm building educational materials, which is awesome. But I also would like to, contribute to other organizations that I support.
Wow, that is a wonderful initiative and very humanitarian. It reminds me of the Pollination Project that Ari Nessel heads up, and being able to to elevate other people and help them manifest their dreams for the animals. So,
Absolutely. And
very
Veg Fund
cool.
does that too.
Yeah.
And A Well-Fed World does that. So I would like to be more aligned with those organizations to have the funding to really contribute to other projects.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to double check and see if we've got any other questions for folks that are on our live feed. Not right now. So any other questions coming from people on the webinar? Just curious. Had some from Anna. And I also I'm wondering when you tell people about your financial flow and your ideas, you get any like common resistances that people say?
Yeah. I think the biggest resistance is the idea of I want to be a millionaire. People are like very trained to say, well, I'm going to cap it at being comfortable and having everything that I need. But you can have everything you need and not have enough to help others. Or you can have everything you need and only have a little bit to help others. Why not have the limitless resources to do absolutely anything? I mean, if you can wipe out um, all the mundane things you do over the course of your day, if you could wipe those out, get rid of them, and have your entire day allocated to things that feed your soul, that are expansive, that are energetic, that are spiritually imbued. Why wouldn't you want limitless resources to do that? I think people are very afraid of changing, that they'll somehow change if they make a lot of money. That's not going to happen. You are fundamentally who you are. And if you have a predisposition for materialism, you've had that long before you got rich. So the way I look at it, all of us, it's an imperative that we become wealthy. It's an imperative that we become as wealthy as we can possibly become, because we need to level the playing field. We need to counter the Koch brothers. We need to counter, some of these very divisive characters that are destroying our government, destroying our environment, exploiting animals, exploiting people of color. Like, we really, really need to focus on redistributing the power so that we can change the course of our world, because they're not going to live long enough to see the repercussions of their actions, the Koch brothers. But a lot of us are. And a lot of us, care about future generations and want to actually have a planet to live on. So we have a huge incentive to become extremely wealthy. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm never going to place a limit on the potential, because I think it is an imperative for all of us at this point.
Wow, I like that. It's a great framework to have, just to be very open and open to receiving. And also, you mentioned a lot about gratitude. And what would be like a first step for anyone who is trying to bring gratitude into their life?
I think to focus on anyone who makes you feel good. So whether it's your cats or your dogs or a friend or a partner, um, even a beautiful day or nature, the ability to walk somewhere, the ability to walk, the ability to breathe without an apparatus, the ability to not be hindered, um, you know, by some of the challenges. There are people that are in Syria that can't eat. So just being able to look at your life and say, you know what, everything that I have is a blessing. And the things that I don't have are not limiting my potential to be my best. Everything happens for a reason, and we are all here to grow and evolve. And whatever challenges we may have make us amazing and beautiful. They make us strong. If we didn't have any adversity in our lives, we wouldn't be resilient, we wouldn't learn, we wouldn't evolve. We would just have nothing to compare it to. So that's kind of how I look at it. Like, I am so grateful that the bottom fell out. I'm grateful that I got laid off, because it set me on a journey that I never would have traversed otherwise. It set me into a mindset that I never would have explored. Um, and I realize now that I don't have a resistance to wealth. And I'm not afraid of becoming wealthy. And I'm not afraid of people having a problem with that or judging me, or I don't care what it looks like. And that's the thing, is like this process is also shedding our egos and saying, you know what, if people don't like me or they don't support what I'm doing, that's okay. I am not under any obligation to make every single person satisfied. They're going to find their ways to criticize, and that's their own issues. So that's kind of where I stand at this point. Is I'm going to be full of gratitude for every wonderful thing in my life and every challenge in my life, because it makes me stronger and it makes me more resilient.
Wow, that is great. I appreciate that so much because it's a nice way to reframe some of the things that happen that we might not understand or that we doubt, or just to have a new framework for it to be to really look at it as a gift,
Hmm.
way to develop ourselves a little bit more. And that's really key to also expanding the animal rights movement, is really about looking inward and developing our own personal self. And that's one of the things that Dr. Will Tuttle talks about as well, is how we do that will reflect on the movement in general. So I have a question for you. If you could give the animal rights activists an affirmation that we could use as a starter, what would be a good affirmation for us?
Wow, there's a lot. Actually, my entire video is all different affirmations for vegan activists. Um, but I am a limitless source of positive cosmic energy. And the money that comes to me and flows out into the universe is imbued with that spiritual energy. So the more that I can acquire, the more I can give, and the more good I can do.
Oh, beautiful. I love it. I'm going to say that one when I wake up in the morning because I think that is a very helpful. It looks like
Yeah.
we've got another comment from Elaine, and she's sharing that Rooterville Animal Sanctuary is blessed to be here, taking care of their 300 pigs. What gratitude he has for being able to volunteer here. We need more funding. What can I do to make wealth to then help better support these awesome animals? Wow. So we got an
Wow.
affirmation and a question in one.
Okay, great. Yeah, I know. Hi, Laura. Well, the first thing I would do is because you guys are a nonprofit, I would get on volunteermatch.org and get help with grant writing and get help with more volunteers, maybe get some help with social media and PR, start developing, a lot of social media stuff with the like videos of your interactions with these animals, because they're precious. I actually just posted a couple Rooterville videos over the last 2 days because they're all coming up in my feed because it's like 2 years ago. Um, so I would say take advantage of the social media platform. It's a really great way to do crowdfunding. You could also, as an individual, build a Patreon account. If you can generate some of those videos yourself, you can have people support that. You can get monthly Patreon donors. There's a lot of things you could do, but I mean, you've got all these little gorgeous individuals that just want to be filmed and want to be exposed. So I think getting a team of people from Volunteer Match to help with like creating social media campaigns and PR would be a really good start. What do you think of that? Do you think that would be something you'd like to do? Okay, great. I can keep brainstorming too. I love Elaine and I love Rooterville. You guys are doing amazing work, and yeah, you'll be in my thoughts. I'm gonna brainstorm for you guys for sure.
So how can people then get in touch with you if they want to work with you directly, to come up with some ideas, to do some of that brainstorming, whether it's a sanctuary or an organization or even a project that people are working on?
Well, I'm actually building a vegan transition coaching business, and that business is not just for new vegans. It's actually going to be everything from relationship coaching, like, people dealing with family members who aren't supportive or a partner that isn't supportive. I'm going to be doing commercial coaching where I help restaurants transform their menus to vegan menus or to incorporate a vegan menu. I'm going to be doing a lot of both like membership-based educational materials and also Zoom coaching and things like that. But in the interim, I mean, you can always contact me through CFEI, or I'm happy to give you an informal phone call as well. If you're, in a state where you just need a couple ideas. But definitely check in the next few months. I'm going to be launching a full site with all of my services. And the website is vegantransitioncoach.com. Now, if you go there right now, it's empty, but it's in the works. And also visit compassionatefarming.org. You can always reach me over there. The worksheet that Lisa's going to give you the download link to has all my contact info, on the last page. So definitely just keep in touch. And if you need support, I'm here for all of you guys. I just want all of us to succeed. And it's a journey for all of us. And we need to be here for each other and support each other and lift each other up, because this movement is absolutely critical, and our health and well-being is critical. If we want to be effective, we have to be healthy, happy, and fulfilled.
Well, thank you so much, Karen. I mean, you have given us so many tools and resources. I'm really excited to try a bunch of them myself. I think keeping
Awesome.
on the sunny side of things is really helpful to to be uplifted and to continue the work that we're doing as activists, but also to have a new way of perceiving our relationship to money, that we can have these things, that actually it's our mission really to have financial flow so that we can help the animals and even become philanthropists if we want to, which is really great. So if you need
Absolutely.
support, you can reach out to Karen. She's going to have a full-scale site coming up soon. And also, if you're looking for emotional support or free counseling in defense of animals, we offer that every day, like Monday to Friday, and you're welcome to call us. We have a support line for animal activists, and the number there is 800-705-0425, or you could look up idausa.org/activist support. So those are a couple ways you can get support, and we will definitely be referring people to Karen when she gets her business
Yeah.
going, because this is another beautiful light to add to our great set of resources. So I want to thank you so
Awesome.
much, Karen, for sharing your wisdom with us, and we're grateful that you had this transformation yourself so you could share. It's like that wounded warrior. Here you are sharing this newfound awareness with all of us, and we're all going to benefit from it. So thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. And I
It
also
was
want
a
to,
pleasure.
yay! I also want to thank everyone who joined us, all those folks who tuned in to hear Karen, and people who might have joined from an activist group. Please share this. If you're on the webinar, you'll get a replay link. You're welcome to share it with people that you know, so other people can benefit from it. And hopefully you can join us next month for our next webinar. We do offer these each month and trying to really bolster our community and make us as strong and resilient as we can possibly be for ourselves and for the animals. So thanks to everybody for joining us tonight.
Thank
Yay.
you for doing these. It's wonderful. Your series is incredible. Thank you.
Oh, well, thanks all around to everyone. And I hope everybody has a wonderful night and stays in that uplifted space. We're getting so many positive comments coming in through the chat box. So it's just been a great experience overall. Thanks to everyone, especially thanks to Karen.
Thank you.
Good night,
Have a
everyone. Have
great
a
night,
wonderful week.
everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.